Want to be compared to Michael Jordan? How do you want to be talked about?
As Anthony Edwards. Yeah, like the first Anthony Edwards, not the next Michael Jordan.
Did you all watch how Anthony broke through the slump Timberwolves were in? And it seems he has to take a lot more credit than just being the best in the game. People are actually calling him Michael Jordan's son. Is there any truth to this? In a big match between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Edwards, one of the star players, gets the ball. He's being closely guarded, but he doesn't let that stop him. With a quick twist and turn, he shoots and scores. The shot was a game changer for the Timberwolves. Right now, they're giving the reigning champion Nuggets a tough time with their strong defense.
Away from 17 feet. Booker the drive, denied. Met at the summit by Edwards.
And Edwards' amazing skills. Thanks to that shot, they get some breathing space and take control of the game. But that shot didn't just stay on the court, it got a new life on social media, like many of Edwards' awesome plays. People edited and compared it to Michael Jordan's famous fadeaway jumper, which is like the ultimate move in basketball history. The comparison between Edwards and Jordan have been going on for a while now. It started quietly, but then exploded as Ant-Man kept making amazing plays and the buzz on social media got stronger and stronger. This week it's reached peak. People are sharing side-by-side comparisons of shots, photos, and even making wild guesses about Edwards' family background. Some rumours and posts claim that Jordan might be Edwards' dad because of some stories about Jordan from back in 2000, the year Edwards was born. It's like a big urban legend where Edwards isn't just seen as Jordan's successor on the court, but maybe even his son. Edwards isn't the first player to be compared to his heirness, and he probably won't be at last. Just a couple of years ago, people were saying that Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat might be Jordan's son because they're both super competitive. This kind of speculation happens a lot on social media, where people connect dots based on how players look and act. Before this, instead of trying to find players who are like Jordan off the court, fans were looking for someone who could play like him on the court. Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter and many others were all seen as possible successors. Bryant was especially close because he copied a lot of Jordan's moves and even wore the same shoes as him, the Jordan 1s. In 2010s, people mostly stopped looking for the next Jordan because LeBron James came along and became a huge rival for that title of the greatest player of all time. That debate has pretty much taken over basketball conversations ever since, but now something different is happening. With his amazing style of play, those powerful dunks, lightning-fast moves, and now even the way he's starting to look like Jordan did towards the end of his career, plus a huge personality, Edwards is making people think something that would have been crazy to say before that. He might be the new version of Jordan. He's only 22, which just blows your mind. Bill Simmons from The Ringer, known for his big statements and trying to keep his huge podcast audience entertained, recently speculated on what might happen if Edwards led the Timberwolves to a championship this year. Simmons said that if Edwards did that, he would immediately be seen as the best player in the game. Simmons also predicted that Edwards would become the breakout star of Netflix's upcoming NBA documentaries, similar to Drive to Survive. He even wondered if Edwards might dominate the US Olympic team, which included stars like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, just like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had to step aside for Jordan during the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Simone's ended his podcast by saying, "Basketball is about to change as we know it. It's exciting stuff, but history tells us to relax a bit." Edwards himself has tried to downplay the comparisons to Jordan. He told Fox Sport, "He's the greatest of all time. I can't be compared to him." Edwards said it's not about the pressure of the comparison, but it's just not possible. This is what players usually say when faced with such big comparisons, though Edwards had previously told ESPN they're not wrong about the similarities between him and Jordan. If we look closely, Edwards is actually more like Dwayne Wade, who won a championship with Miami at 24, with Shaq's help. Wade never reached those heights again, which is important to remember. One or even two titles don't make you the greatest of all time. Jordan won 6, including 2 sets of 3 in a row, sometimes that even Kevin Durant finds hard to grasp. Edwards is right to downplay the comparisons. Trying to match Jordan is nearly impossible. LeBron James once called it chasing a ghost, but this is largely out of Edwards' control. If he keeps playing as well as he is now, the comparisons will only get louder. If he wins a title at 22, he would have done something that Jordan didn't do until he was 28.
What a hezzy. Slams on the brakes. Edwards!
Time will tell, but it's worth thinking about why we always compare new stars to legends of the past. For one thing, it creates great content, driving lots of likes and heated debates on social media. As time goes by and Jordan's achievements become more legendary, he seems more like a mythical figure than a real person to many basketball fans. People might be looking for something like Jordan because they want to find something bigger than themselves. This is despite the fact that Jordan, who was known to be a tough teammate and a frequent gambler, was very human and not necessarily a perfect role model. For Gen X fans, the search for a new Jordan might be about trying to recapture the awe they felt watching him as a kid or teens. Comparing it to a religious metaphor, it's a heavy burden to carry. If the Nuggets come back and defeat Edwards and the Timberwolves, or if they lose in the next round of the finals, it wouldn't be surprising. Young teams often struggle at first. Edwards is expected to face setbacks just like Jordan did against the bad boy Pistons in the 80s, before eventually becoming a champion. If Edwards falls short, we might feel a bit silly, but we'll quickly move on to look for the next Jordan, or go back to debating who the GOAT is online. For now though, anything seems possible. The story isn't written yet, and it's easy to get excited. We know it doesn't make sense and probably won't happen, but we can't help ourselves. As we wait to see what happens, it's interesting to remember that before was Michael Jordan, the skinny kid from North Carolina, was just Mike Jordan. He only became Michael Jordan after making the game-winning shot in the 1982 NCAA championship game. These days, players would say, "I'm him," to mean they're the best. Anthony Edwards might not be Michael Jordan, but he might be him. LeBron James is still a major figure in the NBA, commanding much of the attention. But new stars are emerging, especially in Minnesota, where 22-year-old Anthony Edwards is making a name for himself. Ant-Man is stepping up and looking like he could be the man. Debates about NBA's greatest of all time have heated up as James narrows the gap with Michael Jordan.
Continues. He moves past his idol, MJ, for fourth on the all-time scoring list.
James is the league's all-time leading scorer and has scored more points in his 21st season than any other player at that stage of their career. At 39, he averages 25.7 points, 7.3 rebounds and 8.3 assists, likely earning his 20th consecutive All-NBA team selection. But despite his incredible achievements, no one ever said James reminds them of Air Jordan. That's not the case with Edwards. People keep comparing him to Michael Jordan because of his style, athleticism, trash talk, and fierce mentality. Playing in Minnesota hasn't given Edwards much attention, but legends are made in the postseason. Nothing makes a name like winning 2 games on the defending championship's home court. Timberwolves guard Mike Conley told Fox Sport, "Jordan and Edwards have a lot of the same mannerisms. The moves, the fadeaways, the athleticism, the poster drunks, the blocks, the defensive stuff that he does. But really, just his drive is kind of the main thing. That same kind of work ethic, that same kind of, I don't sleep at all at night because I'm ready to play, I'm ready to hoop." The Timberwolves are halfway to the Western Conference Finals after crushing the Denver Nuggets on Monday. Minnesota hasn't lost in these playoffs, which is showcasing Edwards' talent. So, share your thoughts about Anthony being the same in skills as Michael Jordan. Do you feel that's true? Let us know in the comments below, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. See you next time.